Hey, what's up 819S? So when I bought my bike, there was one thing I asked the dealership to do and they didn't do it, and it's the only thing that disappointed me about the dealership. The suspension on the CRF250L is not really adjustable, but for the rear shock there's one thing that can be adjusted, and it's called the preload. It's how much stiffness is applied to the spring before you actually get on the bike, and it can affect or impact ride height and just the feel of the rear tire on the road. And I asked them to tighten it all the way because I'm a heavy guy. I'm on the heavier side. In fact, I might be past the heavy side for what's recommended for this bike. And I often ride 2-up with my wife, and when we're 2-up, definitely the bike just sinks to the ground. And I really wish the preload was set tighter. So I'm going to the Riverside now. This is one place where I really like, and I'm going to adjust the preload by myself because I need a quiet place to work on the bike and I don't feel like going out to my in-laws' house. So the reason the dealership said they weren't going to adjust it, I mean, if I really made an issue out of it, I think they would have, but the reason they said they didn't want to is that there was a risk of damaging or scratching the paint when they use the hammer and screwdriver to adjust the locking nuts. I'll show you a video of how to do the adjustment and what their concern was. The salesman also said he adjusted the preload on his bike and it didn't actually make that big of a difference. So I guess I'm gonna give it a try and see what happens. I'm gonna go down to a quiet place a little bit further down this Riverside area. If I really want to see a big difference, I'm gonna have to get a new shock in the back. That's not what he said, but that's what I basically took from it. When I look online, there's I forgot the company, YKK? No, not YKK. YSS? YSS makes a shock that's about $360. Race Tech makes like a $600 or $700 shock, and then Oleans makes like $1,000 shock for this bike. I'm not in the market for that kind of upgrade at this moment, so I think this is as good a place of any. Let's take a look at how to do the adjustment. So taking a look at the rear shock in here, it's a little bit hard to see, but there's a set of rings inside there. Let's see if we can find a way to see it from this angle maybe. So there's a set of lock rings inside here. One on top holds the bottom one from slipping, and the one on the bottom is the actual adjustment for the preload. We want to turn it down so that we're putting more tension and pressure on the spring, and we need to do that by putting a screwdriver into that gap and kind of tapping it so that the part will turn. And what the dealer was concerned about was hitting this part with the hammer, hitting the frame with the hammer, and potentially scratching it or possibly damaging the reservoir for the rear brake, or scratching or damaging the plastics or any of the parts back here. I'm gonna give it a shot right now. I got a hammer and a screwdriver with me, and I think I can do it. Okay, so what I did is pop the cover off on the other side, and this is the battery side. The cover has one bolt here and then a rubber grommet that holds it in place. You pull it off and then it slides off a little tab right here and here, and it gives me much better access to the adjusters. So from here I should be able to do adjustment a little bit easier. So we're going to give this a shot and see how it works out. Right now what I'm trying to do is get the lock nut to move so that I can adjust the adjuster, but it doesn't seem to want to budge. And I'm using a cheap screwdriver from the dollar store and it's cracking. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it.
It budged a little bit. I had to put it back to the way it was so that it wouldn't accidentally loosen when I'm riding. So my screwdriver broke. A nice big chunk of plastic came off of it. And that's it for today. I need to get a stronger screwdriver, come back to it another day. It's something I wish the dealer had really done. Toolkit's all done. Let's see. Put it back. Put it back where it belongs. Honda's toolkit is actually a wonderful, wonderful toolkit. It's got all the tools for adjusting the chain and taking off the rear wheel. It's got all the tools I could ever need, I think. Alright, that's it for today. I really need to wash it too. It's so dirty.
Well, that sucked. I was really hoping that I would be able to get it tightened today, but I need to get a different screwdriver, something a little bit more durable, something that maybe has a handle that's made for being pounded on like that. Because that one definitely was not appropriate for pounding on. I guess that's what you get for a dollar store screwdriver though. And what I need to do is basically, loosen that top lock nut, then tighten down the compression, and then tighten up the lock nut again. If I break another screwdriver, especially if it's a cheap dollar store screwdriver, I might have to either just give up, because it might not make that big of a difference adjusting that preload, or consider another way to do it, like maybe take out that battery housing and get the appropriate tool. I think, I forgot the name for it, but there's a kind of spanner that can fit in there that grabs onto the tooth the appropriate way without beating on it with a hammer and a screwdriver, and allows you to turn it. And if you have two of them, then you can actually lock down the lock bolt appropriately too, the right way, instead of just, you know, jury rigging it with a hammer and a screwdriver. But that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, hit that like button. If you want to see more how-to type videos, let me know, and I'll make some more in the future. Give me 1 second to negotiate this here. Let's see. All right. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace. Ride safe.